Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the XBL Party Podcast UK. My name is Ash, aka Ima Ghostbuster, the GM of the XPN network, dubbed by BMG and Sentinel. And it's going to be a good show this week. There's been loads of news. I am joined by my regular panelists. We have got the baldest man in the world who loves his Marvel snap and is apparently distantly related to Jim Ryan. We've got BaldManGamer.
Greetings and salutations. Uncle Jimmy.
He's still beating you after last week, isn't he, mate? It's just not gone well.
Yeah.
He loves me. He loves me. You know, I only have to clean the rims of his car twice a week now instead of 3 times.
We have obviously got the TikTok loving Sergeant Sentinel. How's it going, good sir?
Hey, very good. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it.
like it's my own.
Right? Hey, I'm humble. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm claiming it as my own, even though I haven't hosted this properly in years. But hey, it's my podcast now. We have got Uso Vinny. How's it going?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Good.
It's nearly Friday, so it's always good. It's
my
day.
Friday, so.
Well, to be fair, I'm working from home tomorrow, so it's my Friday technically.
Oh, nice.
Working in brackets, so it's always good. And we have the man with the million, one half of the Xbox 2 podcast, Rand Althor19.
Hey, what's going on?
Going?
Hey, it's going pretty good. You know, it's Thursday, so one more day to Friday, which I get to do Jez Corden's podcast, which I'm always excited for, right?
Nice.
And I don't know, with all the news that happened this week, aren't you guys going to have to change your name of your podcast? Isn't it kind of
Yes.
outdated now? Are you going to have to call it like XBC or something? Like something for core?
Well, actually, you say that. We've got some
XBBC.
announcements to make at the end of the show anyway, which are not related to the naming of XBL. But we'll talk about them right at the end of the show. But yeah, I've just realised this is the first time someone's mentioned this. We are now technically outdated, so disappointed. It's going to take another 6 months for Fabio to get another logo done now. It's all going to have to throw it all out that window.
It's all about that core gaming, baby.
But yeah, before we get into anything, quick shout out to all our channel members. We've got Muppet, we got Thimba, we got UK Dazarus, we got Slayer Exclusive Gaming, we got Darren, we got Matt Kelly, Shadow Mall Back from the Dead, Paul AFC, BMG, Stubbs Gaming, Wandering Dutch, Sergeant Sentinel Gaming, Meisuko, and Donny from Pure Dead Gaming. Big thank you to all you guys for being channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can do so for only 99p a month. Hit that join button wherever it is hiding on YouTube. You get a load of extra perks. You get all of the fantastic, stupid emotes of our faces and everything else. You get access to members-only videos. I think there's 20 up now for members at the moment, including like videos where I eat stupid foods, tier lists, me talking about unheard of Resident Evil 3D movies, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So check it out if you aren't a member. So yeah, before we jump into the topics, because there's quite a few this week. Normally we have like 3 or 4. There's quite a few, so we may run through some of them. Let's find out what everyone's been playing. BMG, what you've been playing this week?
Yeah, again, been playing my usual daily dose of Marvel Snap, because once you go Marvel, there's no other rival. Best mobile game on the planet today. I won't bore anyone else with the details of it, because I think everyone knows by now, because I arc on about it week on week on both shows, PSN Party Podcast and XBL. I went to jump into Destiny 2 before, couldn't access it. Servers were down for whatever reason, so I've kind of jumped that on the head for now. I don't think I'm going to jump back into that until probably till the showcase, because the showcase is on the 22nd of August for the final shape, which is the final expansion for the Light and Dark saga. So we'll see where that goes. A bit more Witcher 3, because I'm holding off on the whole playing Cyberpunk until the changes come in September with the release of Phantom Liberty, if I remember rightly. Phantom Liberty is out in September. So I'm holding off for that. God, what else have I been playing? Oh, we tried that Exo Primal. We gave that a go. I'm still not convinced if I like it or not. I'm sort of, do I want to go back and play it, or do I just want to, I've tried it. It was okay. So I'm two minds where I want to jump back into that. So that's probably on hold. And other than that, we've been, me and Ash, we've both been playing the GTA Online just for shits and giggles, as they say. Bit of fun. Just getting murdering each other just for a laugh, flying around in my DeLorean. Which I remember that cost about $2.5 million. I think I paid for it because I couldn't be bothered doing the heist. So I thought I'll just buy the car. It's easier, and then put machine guns on it. But again, that I do want to try is the game. Let's say we mentioned the other night in private chat that evil one, the werewolf within type game. Like so many villagers, so many murderers or whatever they call them. You've got to figure out who's the killers and vote them off, and that I really want to play that. I'm really want to do it. So hopefully maybe tomorrow evening be able to get to play that. But other than that, that's about it for me.
Yeah, that Evil is on Game Pass, everyone. We've reviewed it on the website previously, but if you are interested in playing it, it's on Game Pass. It's a fun little, like, one of those social deduction games where you are like, some of you are bad, some of you are good, but unlike Among Us, where it's like a smaller, like 2D game, it's like you're in like a little town in fully 3D, and like in the night you can go in and like murder people and stuff like that, which is really, really enjoyable. It's done really well. It's had quite a lot of updates, so we're going to do that on a community game night, hopefully this weekend. Sentinel, what you've been playing?
I mean, aside from working my way through some of the shovelware titles I have to review, some of them are really rough. I've been playing a lot of Tropico 6. I have been traveling a lot this week, back and forth to Chicago, helping out one of my in-laws move out of a certain apartment. So haven't had as much time as I wanted, but that's kind of how it is. Fortunately, I don't live too far. I only live like 90 minutes away, so it doesn't, it's like I'm able to go there and then come back within the same day, but it still is, it takes away from some of the time that I normally would have had to live stream or, whatever else I had planned. So Tropico 6, though, big one this week. Tropico 6, I love it. Such a great game.
Nice. What about you, Uso? What you've been playing? You are muted, just to let you know.
Bathroom break, probably. Yes. There you go, Uso.
It's actually been a mix between Halo Infinite and Exo Primal. I have a little bit of addiction to both now. The update to Halo Infinite's been really good, and Exo Primal's really a blast. It plays really well on Series X, and I've just been enjoying it. Level 47 now.
Nice. Wow, that's much higher than us. My one problem with Exo Primal is it seems really, really repetitive at the beginning, but apparently the more you play, like after you hit a certain level, it unlocks like loads of new stuff, and it's like they should really make that known at the beginning of the game so you keep playing it.
Yeah, and it's even an issue later because it's still random, like the different modes, and yeah, I hope they update it soon where you can choose between the missions and whatnot, because the end game missions are really, really good. I really like them a lot.
Oh, nice. Something I'll have to go back to. But I did quite enjoy it. I like the amount of enemies on screen and stuff like that. So pretty decent. And what about you, Ran? What have you been playing this past week? Oh, everyone's muted.
Wait, Ran's. That's weird. It said I was muted, but I didn't mute myself. That's weird. What did I? So let's see. I finished Oxenfree 2 on the PlayStation. I love Oxenfree 1, so I immediately started Oxenfree 2, and it was a pretty worthy successor to the first game. I didn't like it as much as the first game. Because, you know, like there was the whole mystery going on of what was actually happening. And then when you play the second one, they sort of explain it all already. So some of the mystery of discovering what's going on is kind of removed from it. But I thought it was still a lot of fun. And then I've kind of just had this weird craving to play some of these like point and click games. So I went and I finished Full Throttle Remastered and Day of the Tentacle Remastered from Double Fine. They're both on Game Pass, and they're both pretty cool. I remember playing Full Throttle like back in the day, but like it's been so long, it was basically like a new game, and I never did play Day of the Tentacle, so I was like, because I didn't really want to start anything big. So I was just like, let me just play a couple small things, and then Maquette just came to Game Pass. Which is like a very interesting first-person puzzle perspective game. It has this really unique mechanic where there's like I don't know what you would call it, like there's this like building in the center that has like all the other buildings that are around it in it. So it's basically just like a smaller version of the world around, and then you can take things and place it in there, and then it'll like put it in the real world, but then like smaller. So you got to solve all these sort of like puzzles with like perspective changes by making things bigger or smaller. It's kind of trippy when you actually play it and you're trying to figure out some of the solutions.
That's pretty awesome.
But yeah,
I didn't know that game was still on Game Pass.
Yeah, it just hit Game Pass 2 days ago. It was on PlayStation for like a year, and now it's on Xbox. It's from Annapurna Interactive, the publisher. So that's what I've been playing, and I don't know what I'm going to play next. Probably Guardians for the Galaxy. It's been on my backlog for a while, and there really isn't anything I'm super interested in playing until like Starfield, really. Oh no, actually until like Atlas Fallen, which is next month. So I might actually delve into some of the backlog until then.
I just watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and it really makes me want to go back and replay Guardians of the Galaxy, the game. Awesome game, really good, really good.
I'm trying to keep up with chat. It just keeps going that quick. I tried to click on someone to put it on screen, and I end up with something on. Scott. Yeah, everyone for some reason wants to know Rand's take on Sonic.
No one likes Sonic. Nobody likes Sonic.
Right.
You want to know my take on Sonic?
Yeah.
God, I can't remember the last time I played Sonic. Not really. I was a fan back in the day. Like, I was a Genesis kid, right? Even though I had an NES, my next system was a Genesis. And I did like Sonic. But Sonic isn't hype. I'm sorry. Like, I just...
Oh...
in the year of our Lord 2023, who cares about Sonic?
I like Sonic when he's 2D. I don't like Sonic 3D.
Yeah, it does feel like it went through, like the whole franchise went through a lot of growing pains, and it just hasn't maintained a lot of the fire it had from back in the day. You know, that's what it feels like.
Oh, you're breaking the heart of everyone in chat here. Look at them. They're all sad now.
The only good game that's come out of Sonic is the one that they announced where he's been killed. That's the only one that's worth any watching. Sonic's not relevant. It should have died along with Sega consoles back in the day.
Jesus.
I just bought Sonic Frontiers. Oh, damn.
Oh,
I really want to get it because I am a Sonic fan, but it just looks like someone who worked at Sega used a Unity like college project and just stuck Sonic into like an open world. Like,
it looks like one of those YouTube videos with Unreal Engine.
Yeah, they're like, look at my Sonic open world game. And they just went, actually, we'll just stick Sega on top of that and we'll re-release it. So, always fun. What have I been playing? Do you know what? I've been playing a lot of like smaller games this last week. So, I've been playing, is it Dr. Fetus Mean Meat Machine, which is like a Tetris-y sort of match 4 game where you in the sort of Super Meat Boy universe. My God, that game is hard. It is kicking my ass. I'm not the best at these sort of Tetris like dropping coloured ball style games, but this one like starts throwing in like meat grinders and stuff to absolutely wreck you. And I wasn't doing very good in it, I must admit. What else have I been playing? Under the Warehouse, like a first-person walking simulator game where it has sort of PS1-esque graphics. All right, easy sort of 1,000 gamer score in about half an hour. And then I installed, which is clearly the cream of the crop for this week. I've had this sat on the side physically because I bought it in a second-hand shop ages ago. I installed the Peanuts movie, Snoopy's Grand Adventure, and really used the power of my Series X to play that game in all its glory. So, yeah, it's okay. It's just a kid's platformer. But I've been curious. I picked it up for like £4 and was like, do you know what? I'll give it a go. But there's so much, an Exoprimal and stuff that BMG said, but we've already covered them. So on Tuesday's show, so I'll not sort of go into it in too much detail. Right, let's just have a quick check. I'm not missing out too bad in chat. Ball Style Games brought to you by Manscaped. I wish BMG's talked himself up for today's show. He's been so hyped. He's had a shower. He's given himself a shave everywhere. He's up for it. So
even wearing makeup.
He's even wearing makeup, and not on his face. See, there you go. Thimber agrees with me. The game is Dark Souls of Tetris. It is. It's rock solid. It just breaks me. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get my missus to play it because she's so much better at those sort of games than me. Right, let's jump into some topics because there's a few, and I don't want to be here all night. So we'll quickly run through some of the quick ones that aren't super important. So just before we went live, they announced the release date for the Borderlands movie. So this has obviously got like Kevin Hart in it, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis, Cate Blanchett, and it's now coming out in theaters August 9th, 2024. Now, this is over a year from now. They've already had reshoots and finished shooting months ago.
Oh, you gone?
And with that, his mic is gone. Wow,
That's
I
what
guess,
he gets for talking smack about Jim.
Are any of you guys? I did mention this.
Oh, you're back. Okay, well, welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. I'm running on potato internet. You know what it's like here in the UK. Every now and again, it just throws me off. But thank God we're not on OBS anymore because we'd have not got very far. So are any of you guys interested in the Borderlands movie or not? Because I only want to see it because Jack Black's in it as Claptrap. But other than that, I don't think I have any interest in it at all.
No.
Zero interest.
There you go. See? The man with the million said zero interest.
Zero interest. Maybe one day I would watch it on Netflix or something, but I'm certainly not paying any money to go see it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go and see it cinema. It's definitely not a film that sounds like day one I've got to spend like my hard-earned cash, pay that like £500 for popcorn and a drink and stuff like that.
Well, you know, it's like, when did the first Borderlands actually come out? Borderlands 1 and 2 was when it was hot, and it feels like they missed the boat. You know, you hear about that movie with Donnie Yen, Sleeping Dogs. It's supposed to come out sometime, but it's like, you guys should have made this 7 or 8 years ago. You know, so, I mean, back then I would have been interested, but like now, it's like, you guys missed the boat. So, you know, no dice. Sorry.
No dice.
That's it.
Yeah, shame really, especially since they have a bunch of A-list actors on it.
I've seen a lot of hate for Kevin Hart as the character he's playing, but I love Kevin Hart as well. He's one of my guilty pleasures in
No,
comedy.
you know what though? Roland wasn't supposed to be 5'5". He was supposed to be like 6'3" or something.
Yeah, people were saying like, who's gonna play the other half of Roland?
Right there, you go. He'll have
You
to.
don't even know. They're just going to do what they did in The Hobbit. Kevin Hart's in another room on his own, green screened, and they just make him look bigger. That's all it is.
No, they're just going to sit him on the Rock's shoulders. There you go. Now he plays Roland. He just puts a cape over him. So.
Yeah, he's always got really baggy trousers on in the shape of the Rock.
There you go. That way everyone doesn't have to look down to look at Roland because, Roland's supposed to be tall and strapping and, well, Kevin Hart's not. So, yeah.
I only played Borderlands because someone bought me it as a gift, and I think after about 20 minutes I gave up. It's not a series I'm a fan of, but hey, if you did enjoy the Sonic films and you went to the cinema to watch that, this is probably about 10 times better than that. So fill your boots, guys.
Oh, the Sonic films were good though. You can't slander the Sonic movies.
Nothing of Sonic is good.
You are wrong. I'm gonna have to kick you out soon.
I get heckled for this on Twitter all the time, especially by Scott SX2. Nothing is good about Sonic. The films, the games. I was I can't remember where I was. I was working and I'd gone past like where they were doing all the houses in the village had like all these tables set out and they were selling stuff and they had a Sonic teddy. It killed me to buy it, but I bought it, but I gave it my dog and it tore it up in seconds. Like, even my dog doesn't like Sonic. Nobody likes Sonic. Sonic's like the worst character that was ever made.
You know what?
Mario, now he's someone to look up to.
You better hope that Everborn Saga is not listening to this. Otherwise, you might have something to say about it.
67% of chat say Sonic is hype, so chat's disagreeing with you.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're right. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying I agree with them or don't agree with them. I'm just throwing that out there.
Whoa! The Sonic movies, I will die on a hill that they are good films, enjoyable films.
You know what though? I think Rand made a good point about how Sonic was really badass back in the day, but now it's not really anymore. The games aren't anymore. And I think if the movies would not have come out and been as good as they were, that the Sonic franchise wouldn't be talked about by as many people as it is. That's it.
I will say the movies are fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the two movies.
You've got to remember, Mario's only had 50% good movies.
And I watched, so in comparison, I recently watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, right? So I've seen both Sonic movies, and I watched the Super Mario Brothers movie. Super Mario Brothers movie was awful. Like,
as in
awful.
The original one or the new one?
It was terrible. While the Sonic movies are actually enjoyable. So Sonic has a leg up on Mario there, at least.
Ooh, those fighting words there.
I couldn't believe how horrible the Mario movie was.
How did you? To be fair though, I'm a big fan of the original though. I think the original.
I mean, I think the original's okay, but I mean, like, I watched this one, and I know it's for kids, like it's a kids movie. And I'm just like, yeah, this is kind of bad, Like I was kind of shocked at how bad it was, but whatever. I'm not the target audience for Mario, So
right.
I'm not saying we've probably watched it about 50 times in my household now, but
well,
we have the songs.
Have you watched it 50 times, or have
I've probably watched it about 15 now with my kids.
Well, see, but it's your kids though, so it's a kids movie.
I enjoy it though. I think it's quite fun. I like some of the jokes in it. I do find them quite funny. Although, like, I see some points aren't great, but I think it's all right. I think it's quite funny.
Well, I'll fight you on this one. Sonic's better than Mario when it comes to this.
To movies, I'm all right with that. I still think they should have re-released the original Mario film recently because that is like a fever dream of amazingness. There's like some weird sort of adult club in the middle of it, and it's just weird. It's like they were all on LSD when they made that film, and it's great, like electric powered cars and stuff with like the rails off the backs of them and stuff. Oh, it's pure cinema. That's pure cinema. Oh, they're hating you in chat. Darth Praxis.
Who's hating me?
Completely disagree, and even feel the Mario Bros. Movie is far superior to both Sonic films. But
okay, so Rand, let me ask you this question: what specifically about the Mario movie was it that was like the worst part for you?
Mario.
Not enough
Right.
right.
It's just and I know it's because it's a kids movie. The movie didn't take any time to like just kind of stop and smell the roses. It was basically, it was just constant, like, on to the next plot point. Move. I've never seen a movie just move through its plot points so quickly. Or I was like stunned. I was eating my food. I'm just like, before you know it, it's like, it's over. I don't know. Like I just sat there and I don't think I laughed once. I don't really think I smiled. I was just like, it's a kid's movie, so there's that. But I was just like, this is not a good movie.
So
and then I looked at Rotten Tomatoes, and it didn't review well. So it sort of just exists as a, hey, you know this from the video games. What about this and this, and what about all this and this? You like the video games, right? You like this.
So
Jack Black is. I'll give it. Jack Black is good as Bowser. I'll give that. You know, he's really good as Bowser.
Okay, so let me ask you: if did you like Wreck-It Ralph more than the Super Mario movie?
Never seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Okay,
That's an awesome film.
Right.
Wreck-It Ralph is awesome.
Yeah, because that's
Awesome film.
video game based, kind of. It's like they have a lot of characters that you can tell they're making allusions to certain characters, but without stealing their ideas entirely. So that's why I brought it up.
It is what it is. Let's move on before we all start fighting, especially when it comes to
Right.
The blue little
video game movies. At least we can say, at least video game movies are getting like slightly better, because like those, is it U-Bowl movies are some of the worst films I've ever seen. So I'm glad that we've moved past that sort of like early 2000s stream of garbage. So I'll take
Watch
that.
Uncharted. Uncharted, that's a good film.
Uncharted. Is it it's not based on the
Based
game
on-
Uncharted, though.
Of course
Can't
it is.
agree.
Yeah, it is. Of course it is. It's got a mixture of like all. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
I'm
wonderful
thinking
free
of like an
games in
old
one.
one. You're on about the one with
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland
Tom
in.
Holland.
I've
Which should have
watched
been.
that.
Which should
I've
have
watched
been
that.
Nathan Fillion. If anyone hasn't seen it on Twitter,
Yes.
Nathan Fillion did like a very short movie where he was playing Nathan Drake. Absolutely brilliant. He should have been Nathan
Yeah.
Drake.
Completely
Awesome.
agreed. Completely
Awesome.
agreed.
It was a good film.
Oh.
It was okay. I got free cinema tickets to go and watch it when I bought the game. The PS5, PlayStation 5 version, the remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it.
A movie is bad when people get free tickets and they still want their money back. So that was Uncharted.
I'd like the price of this piece of paper back, please.
Right. You wasted my time. Pay me for it.
You just don't know the quality of PlayStation Studios and Sony. That's what
Wow.
it is.
No, you know what?
Just wait
Hey,
till Gran
let's-
Turismo releases.
You stick with your Halo TV show on
Oh
Paramount.
my god.
Whoa,
Oh,
there was
jeez.
nothing
Mass-
wrong with Master Chief.
Master Cheeks.
I'll die on the hill. I really enjoyed that Halo
I
TV
bet you
show.
really enjoyed
And
it.
it
I
got,
know you're gonna say
it
something
got
about
me into Halo a bit more than I was. I've started reading all the books since then, all because of the TV show.
The only time he became Master Chief was when the series ended. The last literally
Well,
2 minutes of the
I
series.
I don't know Halo that well. I needed that long build up. They could have just cut out that bit with that Rebel girl, cut all of her out of the series, and it would have been a better series. But the bit where he's like getting with the girl with the fucking really long fingernail, I mean that sounds like perfect TV. So
Halo TV shows like
that's-
the last
You're on
Jedi
Pornhub.
equivalent. It's just shouldn't be canon at all.
oh well, let's get into some proper topics. We have got Microsoft has announced that it's going to be ending Xbox Live Gold. And when I say Xbox Live Gold's ending, the name Xbox Live Gold is ending. It's going to be replaced by Xbox Game Pass Core. Now, there's been a lot of debate about this online. I've seen some people think it's great, some people don't like it, some people don't like the branding. Basically, Core is going to be exactly the same as Xbox Live Gold. It gives you access to online multiplayer. It's going to be the same price. However, they are getting rid of games with Gold and replacing it with like a curated small library of Game Pass titles, which are like Dishonored 2, Doom Eternal, Fallout 4, State of Decay 2, Halo 5, and like Psychonauts 2. But comparatively, it's going to be the same thing. It's still going to be $9.99 a month or $59.99 a year. You can then obviously get normal Game Pass, is staying as it is for console, which just gives you access to all the games, but not online. And then you've got Ultimate, which has the best of both worlds, plus PC Game Pass and everything like that. Now, obviously, this seems to like it's been coming for a while. What do you guys think of it? Because like it's been sort of going one way or another. Like some people, me personally, I think that naming it Game Pass, bundle it into Game Pass is a great idea because it gets those Game Pass numbers up, and from a business perspective, that's a great thing. But the way the tier system now works, it goes like live available, not available, live available, and that for non-gaming savvy people like ourselves, people are stupid, and I feel like they need to make it a bit clearer. So, like, Rand, what do you think of this change?
Well, I mean, so I think Xbox Live Gold needed to go away, 100%, and we've been waiting for it to kind of leave. I do. Like games, see, this is really tough to talk about because I think it's better, but it's not as good as it could have been, right? Like, obviously, there's the whole paying for multiplayer aspect, which nobody likes, right? And we all don't like playing for multiplayer. We all wish it would be free. It's not fair that console players have to pay for multiplayer and PC players don't, right? I'm sure we'd all agree on that. But Xbox Live Gold and how it was structured was very antiquated, with everything being Game Pass. So, like, they needed to make some changes, right? They got rid of Xbox Live, period, because they renamed everything Xbox Network, as you recall. So now it's like, oh, we got Xbox Live Gold. So now you change it to Game Pass Core, and you remove the awful Games of Gold. Just truly awful. Right, Games of Gold is gone, thank God, because it was value for nothing. Now you could say, well, they made it that way, and you're just accepting it being gone. Whatever. Games of Gold has been pure crap ever since Game Pass came out because it was clear where the budget was going. Right, everything was going to Game Pass, and hardly anything, maybe a couple cents was left over for Games of Gold. I think the issue is. People have, because I see a lot of people talking about it, especially my brother Infinite Umbra, is I think it's the naming structure of it, because the way it's named Core, Xbox Game Pass Core, implies that it's like the bottom tier of a tier structured subscription service, right? Like Core, because when you think Core, you think, okay, this is the basic stuff you get in a subscription, right? Core. But when you line them all up together, it's like Core has multiplayer and a selection of Game Pass games, which is great because I think the selection of Game Pass games is way better than the Games of Gold used to get. So anybody who's subscribing to Core is actually, I think, getting way better value than what you'd used to get. Because games like Forza Horizon 4 and Halo 5 Guardians and Grounded and Inside and all the games that they've announced are way better than those. Right? Way better than the awful 2 games they'd give you a month. So for those people, it's a better value. The issue is when you look at that stuff and you're like, okay, I'm paying $10 a month for multiplayer access and these selection of games, and then you look at, okay, now I can choose console Game Pass or PC Game Pass, and you look at it and you're like, well, console Game Pass is $10.99, so it's $1 more expensive, but it doesn't come with multiplayer. And then you look at PC Game Pass, and that's $9.99, and it comes with like EA Play, which console Game Pass doesn't. And then you look at Ultimate, and that's $16.99, and it comes with everything. You look at it, and you're like, well, wait a minute, this is kind of the structure is a little bit weird. Why does multiplayer, why is it in core but not also in console, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because people look at it like core is supposed to be the bottom and then it goes up from there. But in reality, it's three bottom tier. It's like three similar tiers where if like you just want online, you choose core. If you just want console Game Pass, you choose console. If you just want PC, you choose PC. So you have three options to choose from. And then if you want all of them, you have essentially Ultimate, right?
Yeah, they should have advertised that in like a pyramid picture, not a like
Well, yeah, I don't even think I think there was just fans who just made pictures like that. But Infinite Umbras in chat says, I just can't excuse them taking away games of gold and not replacing with something else for us. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't care that they removed it because I've been an Ultimate member, I'm sure just like you, and I have not used games with gold in probably 5 years. So it basically didn't exist to me. So them removing it doesn't matter to me because it didn't exist to me anyways. Now we can talk about them raising the prices, which they did months ago, which is like, yeah, I don't really like the fact that they're raising prices. They're $1 trillion company. It kind of sucks, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, you know, I use Game Pass enough where it's like, it's worth it to me. But I understand if somebody's like, you know what, they raised the price. I don't really have that in my budget. It's not worth it anymore. I'm going to unsubscribe or I'm going to go lower. So to me, I sort of feel like the issue is the naming and how they're positioning core versus the other ones, rather than like what they've done, because what they've done is really just a name change. That's all it is. They changed Xbox Live Gold to Xbox Game Pass Core, and they removed games with gold, and now they're giving you 25 other games. Otherwise, everything's the exact same as it always has been. You know, console Game Pass has never had multiplayer. And PC Game Pass has always had more because it had EA Play, right? So, I don't know. I sort of feel like nothing's changed at all, really, outside of a name change. Personally, if they would have asked me to come up with something, because I look at like something like Game Pass Core, and I think the idea of giving someone a selection of games is actually smart. Because not everybody's going to want to subscribe for $10. But you could offer a tier for $5 that people might be like, huh. You know, if you offered something called Xbox Game Pass Core or Xbox Game Pass Basic, and it was $5 a month and it got you 25 games, that's a pretty good proposition. But for a lot of those, you would also have to have multiplayer. And that's where, like, the pricing comes in, right? Because you can't offer games like Grounded, and you can't offer games like Halo, and you can't offer games like Sea of Thieves, and you know the ones that have multiplayer and a $5 tier without also having multiplayer. But they're so used to people buying the multiplayer at $10 a month and $60 a year that like that has to be included in the $10 tier. So it kind of doesn't line up very well value-wise with the other ones, and you can't put it in console Game Pass, because then that screws up the value of Ultimate, right? Because Ultimate's like big push is like, hey, we got everything. We have console, we have multiplayer, and we have PC, and we have console and cloud streaming. So if you included multiplayer in console, you'd have to raise the price, right? Which is, I don't think some other people realize, like when they want like, hey, I want multiplayer in the console tier, they probably have to raise the price because they're selling regular Game Pass for $10 and they're selling online access for $10. They're not going to be giving you both of those for $10, which means, okay, they're going to raise the price. And essentially what you've done is you just doubled the price of Xbox Live Gold. You've just basically created a scenario that what we had 2 years ago where they wanted to raise the price of gold from 60 to 120 because not everybody's going to want to subscribe to Game Pass, right? There are some people who are just like, I only want multiplayer access. I don't care about any of these games. I want to play. I want to pay my 60, and that's it. And there's probably quite a few of them because they're transitioning everybody from Game Pass Core or everybody from Xbox Live to Game Pass Core. So if you're somebody who doesn't want Game Pass, but you want multiplayer, and they put Game Pass and they put console and they put there's a lot of stuff. They put the multiplayer access in console. You've essentially you've now raised the cost of multiplayer access to $120 a year. So not only is that person now like, well, why am I paying double what I used to pay? It also doesn't looking good in comparison to PlayStation Plus, because PlayStation Plus is $10 a month, $60 a year. And if they did this, it would be more expensive. So you can't really do that. I mean, we can argue over the semantics of having to pay for multiplayer, which we shouldn't, but we do. It's just everybody pays for multiplayer on console. But at the end of the day, Microsoft is a business. Console multiplayer and gold was a revenue stream. They're not just going to give that up, especially now where they probably going to own Call of Duty, right? They're going to actually own Call of Duty, and that game you need multiplayer for their yearly releases,
because it's currently like topping the charts.
Yeah, so
the newest COD. This is all the old CODs.
Yeah, so you have all these people paying for it, and it's probably not going to go away at this point. So it's just, this is probably the best of what they can do now, and maybe they make some changes down in the road. But to me, it's just like this is sort of the thing you had to do. It's like a little small step forward. It's like, yeah, you lose some value in Ultimate with Games with Gold, but did you really, Umbra? Did you really lose anything with Games with Gold? Because those games are garbage.
I don't, a lot of it has been garbage, and I've complained on this podcast quite a lot that a lot of it is like $1 bargain bin trash. However, it's not my fault that that's all the peasants are paying for. I pay for Ultimate, so you're now taking something off me, a premium payer, so the core people can get a better deal, and they are getting a much better deal. This reminds me of that PlayStation thing they did with the PlayStation, whatever it was called. We know you got like the 25 games for me, the PS5.
Yeah, that was the PlayStation collection.
Yeah, that was a really good way. That was one of the reasons I hurried up and got a PS5, because I knew I could get all those extra games basically added to my account. So I feel like that's going to bring more people to want to sign up and stuff. But like, I still feel bad that I'm still paying the same price for Ultimate, and I'm still not getting my bargain bin trash as well.
Do you really? Are you really sad you can't play those crap games and get them anymore?
I'd just like to add them to my account.
Oh, so you just want to see the number go up. You just want to see the games all good. Okay.
I know how many games I've got. So every now and then, to be fair, half of the games with gold I own anyway. But we went from 5 to 4 to 3, and now we're on like 2, and now they're like, you're not even getting that. So it's not a loss. Like, we're not losing a lot, but Ultimate people are getting shafted here compared. And it's not the end of the world. We'll live. We still play online. PC peasant console.
Right.
I am on the Chivo hunt again, Muppet. I'm 830,000, and I'm like, I need to just get hit that final stretch, and then I can stop achievement hunting again after my big break. So
it's like me personally, I don't even have a problem with them doing away with games with gold, because like everyone pretty much agrees they're garbage titles. It's like, my issue is kind of with the increase to Game Pass Ultimate, but these price increases were expected. The writing was on the wall when EA games started being included with Game Pass Ultimate, and we didn't see an increase there. It's like with Xbox having to negotiate with these companies, and now, of course, the Activision Blizzard deal almost completely done. I think the writing was on the wall for an increase, and again, that's my biggest issue, is that it went up, but I understand why they did it. I kind of feel like the way they could have offset the negativity that came with this reveal is if they would have revealed that family plan for Game Pass at the same time that they revealed this. I think that would have helped to negate a lot of the negativity that the reveal of these 4 tiers has garnered on social media.
Yeah.
My issue is, as a console player, to get the equivalent of what PC Pass has to offer, you have to go Ultimate. Take away xCloud, like really Ultimate's the same as PC Pass. It's just a $7 increase, and you get access to PC Pass and console. But I mean, as a console player, like, you know, majority of console players don't have access to a PC, so that doesn't even matter. And another thing with the online gaming, most most multiplayer games nowadays are crossplay. And so what are we really paying for with multiplayer? Are we paying for multiplayer? Are we paying because the consoles are sold at a subsidized price to get people into the ecosystem? And so that's the confusing part on my end. It's just like, you know, to get the equivalent of what PC players get, you have to get Ultimate. Otherwise, you know, you get core and console Game Pass, which doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Have you seen that nice message for you by the Ghost of Jinnah, BMG?
Yeah, I did. You know, Destiny's not on a decline. Yeah, they're having a couple of issues with servers because they're updating engines and doing this, that, and the other. But you just wait. You just wait. When Showcase Part 2 comes in October.
No, you know what? Bungie they're gonna say, you know what? Destiny 3 is not happening. No future content is not happening. We are now relegated to oversight duties with all of PlayStation's multiplayer games from this point on. Sorry, Destiny fans, and I know BMG, you're gonna have a tear in your eye when you hear it. But it's coming. I'm calling it now.
Bungie are helping PlayStation shepherd their live service games. Look, you know, they helped delay Factions to make it better and the best, to be the second best live service game that's gonna come to the brand. So don't you worry about.
Well, they're
about
helping
Bungie.
PlayStation because PlayStation without them would not be able to produce the same quality of multiplayer games that Xbox does with every title. I'm just saying.
You know, the
That
reason
include
why.
Halo.
The reason why you ask about like console paying for console or playing for multiplayer and why we do and PC doesn't.
Yeah.
It's because we pay for it. And we've been paying for it since 2002 or whatever it is. And because PlayStation pays for it and because Nintendo does. It's just that's something that console gamers have accepted as part of the cost of playing online, and PC gamers will not accept in any form whatsoever.
Right.
That basically comes down to
That's
it.
very true.
Well, do you think logistically speaking, a company like Microsoft could offer free multiplayer to their console gamers? Do you think they could?
I mean, of course they could, but like they're not going to because that's like a $1 billion revenue stream. They're not just going to give up a revenue stream like that for nothing.
Yeah.
It'd have to benefit them in some manner. Like they would have to think by doing this, we'd actually make more money, right? Because that would be how it works. Like, well, if we remove gold, could we make more money than if we had gold, right?
Right.
And if that was the case, if they thought they could, then it would be gone. They probably think they couldn't, and they're like, well, why are we going to just get rid of this revenue stream that we enjoy and that is dependable every single year, that our competition also has? Right. So could they remove it? Of course they could, but they're not going to. You know, it sucks, but it is the way it is.
I have a question for all you guys. So if this like tier system pushes more people to go PC, do you think Xbox would eventually, maybe not next generation, or maybe next generation, depending on how this one ends, would they stop making consoles and just go straight to PC with how they're planning this tier system?
I don't think you really are going to need a console soon, because look at these TVs that can now play video games, and you don't really need a console, you just need a controller. So I think the writing's already on the wall with that. But as far as people saying, hey, I'm going to abandon console gaming to get a PC, I mean, it's cost. It's what your cost is. If you can afford that, I suppose you might try. But in my opinion, it's almost cheaper just to stay a console gamer.
I would say no, because I don't see how this tier thing that we're talking about would make anybody go to PC, because it's been like this since the beginning. Like, PC Game Pass has been like this in comparison to console Game Pass for years now. Sure, the console one just got a $1 increase. I don't think that would make anybody switch to PC. That's like, oh my god, like this would make me to switch to PC. Plus, like if you switch to PC, the Windows Store doesn't really have all the games. So I think I know there's that talk that Microsoft wants people to switch to PC, but I don't really think that's true because their Windows Store, right? Microsoft takes a 30% cut of every game sold on the Xbox Store.
Yeah.
But if you go to the Windows Store on the PC, games like Hogwarts Legacy, games like Resident Evil 4, like all the big games that come out, they're not on the Windows Store.
Right.
So if you wanted to buy those, you'd have to buy them on Steam or Epic. And guess what? Microsoft doesn't get a cut of that. So I find the idea that Microsoft is trying to push people to PC a little absurd because Microsoft would be losing out on a ton of money because those people wouldn't be buying games on the Windows Store. They'd be buying them on Steam. They would become a Steam customer, and Microsoft would lose their business. So no, I don't think people see this and are like, well, now it's time to go to PC. Because I always think who knows what the future holds, but I think there's at least one more console generation. So in 2028, I think Xbox and PlayStation will put out another console. But then you get to like 2034 or 2035.
Yeah.
I don't know at that point. But I think there's at least one more console generation before you really start looking at like, all right, cloud gaming is replacing all this. Because as the court trials and all the stuff that they've talked about has shown us is that cloud gaming barely even exists at this point. Microsoft has consistently said like nobody really uses it, and in fact, the people that use it are just testing games out that they want to download for their console. They want to see if it's worth downloading. It's not even like there's not really anybody who's just cloud gaming only on Xbox, right? It's just an additional feature set. So I can't imagine there not being a console in a couple years, but the generation afterwards is anybody's guess. I would imagine there always be console because I think it's worth it for them. I think there's always going to be a dedicated hardcore fan base that will buy the console, that will pay the multiplayer tax, that just wants the plug and play aspect of it and doesn't want to have to tinker with drivers on their PC and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and like cloud gaming depends a lot on your internet. I live in Milwaukee, Rand, I know you live in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And internet for us is pretty dependable, but you got people that might live in smaller cities where they're doing good just to get 30 or 40 megabytes per second. And it's like across the board, the internet quality, in my opinion, has to improve a lot before cloud gaming becomes much more mainstream.
yeah, it sure does. It sure does.
Yeah, cloud gaming here for me is a no-go. Weirdly, right, on the console, plugged in, wired, I can't use cloud gaming on my Xbox. Half the screen is blurry and the other half is clear, which is weird. But I play it on the PC app and it's absolutely fine on wireless in the exact same room. So I sort of gave up with cloud. I'm not really bothered about cloud. I like the idea of it to be able to play my stuff on the go. But nowadays with these new like Steam Decks and these ASOS ROG Alloys and stuff, why, when you can just download the game and play it natively handheld? I feel like those machines' rise has really sort of killed off the buzz for cloud gaming, especially for me it has anyway. So I don't care at all for cloud one little bit anymore. I even bought those stupid plastic holders to put my controller on, and for what?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that gold has gone, because in fact I only actually have 2 games from Games with Gold, and that's the Batman Telltale series, the two games or seasons that came out of that. They're the only games I've got with it. I've never bothered with it. I've never added them to my library because they've been absolutely dog crap. It probably makes sense. Sort of pushing everyone onto Game Pass makes the numbers look good, more subscribers to Game Pass. I would have probably changed it so instead of having what is it? We've got console, core, ultimate, PC. Why not just make console and core as one? Have core, ultimate, and then PC, and just have the 3 tiers, and do it that way. It's hard because it's like I get Game Pass Ultimate fairly cheap. I go through CD keys. in the UK, I pay £6.79 for Game Pass Ultimate each month. That's all I pay. So I get it fairly cheap. And I know most people, like parents and things like that, they're just getting it for the kids, would just subscribe or, go into an actual mom and grop shop and just buy a voucher for the Game Pass and pay the full whack. But
I know BMG, you have issues sometimes with your internet. Do you notice a difference between the internet between your console and your PC where you live right now?
It says for the moment, my console's, my son's TV broke, so I had to give him the TV I had in my office where my consoles and PC were. So my consoles are downstairs in the living room because there's only really me that sits in there. They run via Wi-Fi and they're right near the router, so they're super quick. And my PC's upstairs in the office, which I've run through Ethernet cable, but it runs through the electric, so you can get these boxes, plug into the mains, connect to the router, and you run the internet that way. So technically, my consoles actually run faster because I've hardwired everything else. So apart from mobile phones, my consoles run faster than my PC internet, which is awful, by the way.
It's not as awful as my internet.
Oh no, mine's my PC, because I am not part of I'm not a one of these peasant console owners needing PC. I'm a console gamer. I prefer having a controller in my hand, playing a game, not sit with my mouse and keyboard, doing my taxes, doing my Excel spreadsheets, playing solitaire, click, 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 button, button, button. I'm not into I like a controller. I like the way, the analogs, the moving, how I was brought up on gaming. I wasn't brought up, I was born in the 80s. Back from, remember playing the Nintendo, going from the D-pads to the analogs. That's where I prefer to play. And yeah, we've got to pay for online multiplayer. Would I rather it be free, like PC is, like Xbox? Was it Xbox 360 era where it was you never played for online? It was just free, and it was PlayStation that you always paid for.
No, it's always paid for Xbox. PlayStation was free on.
I've got it the wrong way around. Right.
And you started paying on the PS3.
Right, yeah. Sorry, I've got it the wrong way around.
You've got to remember, though, the PlayStation's online was always gash. Like, how many times did it go down and get hacked and stuff? So I'd much rather pay for a decent service. But we're now at that time in the sort of history of companies and the internet and stuff where, like, Microsoft's got all the servers and stuff now. We don't need to be paying that extra surcharge just because they say so. It should be free.
Well, we will. But it's like Ram was. It's like as Ram was saying, we do take it, we do pay it, and again, the only way you're going to make changes is by voting with your wallet. Everyone stopped saying, "No, I'm not paying for this anymore. I'm sick of it. PC, get it for free. I'm not paying for it anymore." They would change. They would make changes. They would do something different. But we don't. We all take it. We all pay it because it is an integral part of, not only just social media, but social interaction now. The amount of people that I've met through social media and gaming, gaming's been a big part of making new friends. If it's kind of sort of how I ended up, podcasting with XBN was, I joined one day playing a game online, and it was so much fun. Got talking, had a laugh, and I ended up being on a podcast. And I enjoy talking about games. I enjoy playing games, and it's just something that we take, and we're probably, it's always going to be that way. I can't imagine it ever being in a place where it's free. With like Xbox bringing out another console, yeah, we know they're working on another console. I could sort of see a future where that would be the last console, and literally Xbox would just become a software subscription where you'd be able to play it on anything, cloud, PlayStation, handheld, PC, and subscribing that way, which I hope they're not. I do hope it doesn't go that way because I like having an Xbox console. The Xbox Series X, a lot of people kind of said it looks, boring, dull, and I think it's a perfect design. I absolutely love my Series X. I love the way it looks. I like having the black controller with a black console. I don't like having multiple coloured controllers or anything like that. I like
so
it
you're
just all to
admitting that
match.
the PlayStation's ugly then because that's
No,
black and
no.
white.
See,
You just said you don't like multicolored. You can't say that.
Well, I
and then
do
say,
like.
well, I like my PlayStation.
The
That's two colours.
PlayStation is huge. It's heavy. Took 2 people to deliver it. But again,
sits next to your fridge. You can't tell them that part. Yeah.
My PS5 it brings income every month. I've got a family living in it at the moment. It's great.
Right. Yep.
Got 4 bunk beds in there, making a right killing on it.
You just wait. PS5 Slim coming soon.
No, I've seen that online today, and apparently it's not a Slim. It's just a like when PlayStation do like an upgraded model where it's still the PS5. It's just going to be slightly different pieces. Save that for Tuesday. We bore people about PlayStation 5's ugly ass cell hat fucking look on a Tuesday show. Don't bore our Xbox fans with your PlayStation talk just because you're salty. Just so everyone knows, we all remember last week, not this one that's just been last week, BMG cancelled the PlayStation podcast and made us do a 100-question special because he didn't want to talk about how all the bad news PlayStation were getting and obviously Xbox's big wins.
That's because
he begged us to move it.
That's because in court the judge had snapped the Infinity Gauntlet and it was no more. That's it.
Oh right, I'm moving on.
Your mind still got a few smooth moves. Don't you worry.
Right.
It's gonna show his hand.
Right, I'm going to run through some here quickly just so we get them out of the way because we're already an hour in. So we've obviously got a selection of sort of new games and stuff coming to Game Pass this week, which is great. Let me just get the list up in front of me because it's now not loading, as always. So Sea of Thieves has added its new Monkey Island update today as well for anyone interested. I highly recommend that. Today, they've added Figment 2, Creed Valley, and The Wandering Village to Game Pass. Now, I've played Figment 2. I did a review video on the channel. It's a nice little adventure game, which is based on music and stuff like that. And you're basically going through people's minds to work through their mental issues through the use of music. So all the bosses are music timed and stuff. So you're you dodge their attacks based on the music in the background. Highly, highly, highly recommend that one though. Really, really good. I haven't played the other one yet, but I know Thimba was really interested in that the other day. So that's really cool. And also they've added Maquette, is it? Maquette? If I'm pronouncing that from Annapurna. That game looks absolutely right up my alley. Proper first-person puzzle game. Really, really looking forward to that. Now, where is it? Oh, the joys of us all getting all this stuff and then you can't find any of it. It's always great, isn't it? Professional podcasting. We've got the free play days for this weekend. I've actually got a decent game on. So you've got The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, you've got Meet Your Maker, PGA Tour 2K23, and Train Sim. Now, most of these I think are on sale as well as part of that Ultimate sale. So now's the time to try them while you can for free, and then you'll be able to obviously pick them up at a decent price. While we're on that, has anyone actually picked anything up in the Ultimate sale yet? I've picked up a handful of stuff so far.
No, I pretty much own everything in the sale. Every time there's a sale, it's I own everything, so not much to get.
Right?
I keep picking odd little things up though, like that.
I got the One Piece Odyssey game, Sonic Frontlines, Near Replicants, and the Devil May Cry collection. So pretty good deals.
Nice. Yeah, the Devil May Cry collection's a really good deal.
My problem is I buy games and then I don't download them. I just leave them in my library, and I never actually get round to playing them. I bought the 2 Sherlock Holmes games in the sale, and they're still sat there. I've literally just started Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and I still haven't come back to it yet. I don't know. I hate having it's weird to say, but I hate having too much choice because I spend more time looking what I want to play, and the time I actually decide on something, it's like, oh no, wife says it's bedtime.
That's my problem with Netflix. I'm like, I spend more time scrolling than I do watching. So nowadays, I sort of literally go and I got that one straight away. As soon as something slightly remotely interests me, I'll click on it basically. So
you know you have an issue when you buy a game and you go to your library to stop the download and cancel it just to leave it for later.
That's it. Oh, I've got like 19 updates for games. I think that's why I started botting out earlier. I've had to go on my Xbox and pause all my downloads because it's just like updating everything. I haven't played that game in a year, but it still updates it every bloody week. So
just a thought. Just for everyone on the panel, how many games do you roughly have installed on your console at this moment? Your Xbox Series X, how many games you've got installed? I have 4 because I don't like having too many. That's why I never need this external hard drives or anything like that. I have 4 games installed.
All right, give me a second and I'll tell you.
Are we talking just on...
play like 2 games?
We're talking just on Xbox, right?
Just on your Xbox console, currently, how many games have you got installed?
Like 317.
I have like 70.
539.
Oh my! And are you actually playing a mixture of all these constantly, or are you just sort of sticking to 1 or 2?
No,
I just download. I'll play something, then forget to uninstall it, and it just keeps adding up and adding up. But yeah, I have just deleted about 50 though. But I have an internal like the stick, the expensive Seagate stick, and I also have an 8 terabyte external hard drive plugged in, or a 5 terabyte. I can't remember how big it is, but I've got a hard drive plugged in, so all the Xbox One games go on there basically. So
you could run your own xCloud, jeez.
But yeah, way too many. I have them set though. One thing I'd love about Xbox is I have them. The ones I want to play, I put them pinned to their main screen in the groups. So I have like a group that's like to do for reviews. I have like a game night one for when the family come round, or I want to play like a quiz game with the missus. And then I have like most wanting to play games that I really want to play next. So,
but
you know what? It's like I have some games that I'm like, I'm going to delete it. But then I see other people got achievements in it. And I'm kind of like, you know what? I should go back and play that. I saw, you know what? It's like I was actually going through and I was going to delete both of my prototype games. And I saw that Colt Eastwood got all of the achievements for Prototype 2, and I was like, shit. I was like, all right, I can't delete it now. Now I have to actually go through and play it. Because I just see someone else getting achievements, and I'm like, yeah, I should definitely play that game. So I keep it, and that's why I have so many. I just, you know.
I used to do that, though. I used to keep a game if I'd not got all the achievements. Like if I was missing like 2, when I was like, I need to go back and finish it. Now I don't care, but I've not gone back and had a clear out, so... Yeah, I've got too many games. I know I have. It's just the way of the world. And speaking of too many games, tomorrow we are getting over 1,300 retro games being dropped all onto Xbox through a brand new service, Antstream Arcade. Now, this has been out since 2018 on PC. I have used it on there before. But tomorrow, July 21st, 2023, it's coming to Xbox, and it includes a whole host of games from the 80s, 90s, the noughties and earlier, covering consoles including NES, SNES, Mega Drive, PlayStation. You've got DOS games. You've got all, like, you can play the original, that one you were playing earlier, Rand, with the aliens. The name is totally Day of the Tentacle. You can play the original version of it in DOS mode. Now, these are all cloud-based, and it's like a Netflix of retro games, and they keep adding new games all the time. But you can currently subscribe on Xbox. You can pre-order it for a year for full price. This is UK price $29.99, or lifetime for $79.99. Now,
lifetime.
Yeah, definitely.
Are any of you interested? I've already bought my lifetime sub because I played this previously when it first came out and it was good. And a lot of the games I own on the Evercade now, but a lot of the ones that are on that are now on this. I'll be able to play them through my Xbox all in one place. It is cloud-based, Thimber, I know that, but like the size of these games are so small. They're not like high quality. I don't need them to be super detailed or anything, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It has all like the mini challenges and the like tournaments and stuff and the multiplayer aspects. For me, it was a no-brainer. Like the amount of content there is fantastic. You've got like your Earthworm gyms, you've got Super Star Wars, 40 Winks, just to name a few, Metal Slug. So I don't know how I'm ever going to get through my backlog because I'm about to add another 1,000 odd games to my sort of pile tomorrow when it goes live.
No Donkey Kong though, original.
No, because that's Nintendo aren't going to let them have Donkey Kong, are they? They're going to be all like third-party games.
Yeah. That's
No. Stop playing old games. Look to the future. Play new stuff.
But you play Destiny 2. That's old. Stop playing Destiny 2.
It's always going. It's live
You know what?
service.
All right. Hold on a
something
second.
new to play.
I just got to say this. You're saying look to the future. PlayStation only has 2 games in the pipeline. Xbox has like 60. I'm just saying.
Whoa.
Just saying.
Whoa. You just wait. In fact, at the moment, I think as we speak, the Spider-Man 2 San Diego Comic Con's going on at the moment. So I'm waiting for the new trailers and info for Spider-Man 2 to drop.
You're waiting for the real what do you call it, showcase to be announced, aren't you?
Waiting
It's
for
coming.
Jim Ryan to show both of his hands.
It's coming.
Wow.
Jim Ryan's just going to do a video. He's going to drop his pants. Both his testicles are going to drop down to his knees with the date of the PlayStation Showcase Part 2 on. You just wait.
Tattooed on there.
Oh,
While
Jesus.
dancing, singing, never gonna give you up, never gonna let
I know right now Randa's like,
You
what
just
the hell
wait.
did I walk into?
It's always a good sort of shock to the system when you've never been on our show or heard of us before and you see it. Somebody in chat just asked, I'm sure they said, is the original R-Type on there? If so, yes, 1 and 2 arcade versions are on there as well. So,
Oh,
but yeah, it
UK
looks
Lazarus.
amazing.
Oh, breaking news. UK Lazarus PS5 is better than Xbox. Come at me.
No, it's not.
Since UK Lazarus, he's always been about his what's that thing that Sega made that
Sega
lasted
Saturn.
about
He's
a
Sega
day?
like
Saturn.
95% of the time on Sega Saturn.
Yeah, lasted about a day before they discontinued it. And then he's always been about Xbox, and then he gets the PlayStation 5. He even painted his room blue. Is that become much of a PlayStation fan now?
Wow.
Blue.
That's just because the Xbox was out of stock. That's the only reason.
I do worry about all of you guys and all the chat. It's not. It is a bomb. It's that bad. It's just going to explode because it just can't run any games. That's what it is, Daz. Rand, are you interested in?
Sorry, one second. I can't remember, from Sega, they actually announced this is for UK Lazarus that they are struggling making a Sega Saturn Mini, and they're probably going to end up having to scrap it because they can't do it. That's how crap it is.
Wow.
It's only because Daz will be
Sorry.
the only person that buys one. That's it, though.
Right.
Yeah, Rand, are you interested in all these retro games? Is it something you'd try? No.
Nope. Not at all.
You are all new only.
No, I'm just not really a retro guy.
Right.
It's like what, $30 for a month or like $80
year.
forever or
Yeah.
something?
I think it's $30 for a year, $80 for lifetime.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'm good, thanks.
I mean, I've picked up a lifetime, but I know I'll get the use out of it. Do you know what I mean? But if you don't like retro, like you're not going to play it a lot, then it is an expense for people that they don't
Right.
need. I'm just hoping they add more PlayStation games. They did like a sort of a show the other day, and they announced like MDK and Glover and stuff like that. So and Loaded. So I'm like looking forward to playing like some of these classics again, which I haven't played in a bloody long time. So
You know, to subscribe to a service like this, they would have to have specific titles that I'm looking for, not just tons of titles like Conquest of the Crystal Palace, Phantom Fighter, both on the NES. But again, they're NES titles. I don't think they're third or first party. They might be third party.
No, they're all third party. There's nothing really
Yeah.
first party on it.
But it's like I'd be looking for specific titles, and if they didn't have them, I'd be kind of like, well, this isn't really worth it, you know?
Oh no, 100%. I totally get why you want to play certain things, but for me, you're never going to get to play some of these old retro games on a Nintendo because they just don't want to give it to us. So,
and some of the retro games, in retrospect, are actually pretty bad, and you probably shouldn't play them again anyway. So I'm just throwing that out there.
There you go. Martin James says you need to play Bubble Bobble in co-op brand, and it'll change your mind.
Nice.
So
I just want new games. It's it's very rare I go back and play games that I've already finished because I know the story, I know what's going to happen. I'd rather have new games to play. I don't mind having games like I've got Star Wars Battlefront 2 installed. Every now and again for about 20 minutes.
Hold on a
I like
second.
going back and going on the big Supremacy Wars on that because that's a bit of fun. But it's like Witcher. The only reason I jumped back into The Witcher 3 is because I was looking for an RPG to play because I can't touch Cyberpunk yet because there's a whole new change and updates coming. Otherwise, I'd be playing Cyberpunk. But I'm more for let's get new games, play new games, new experiences. I'm looking forward to Starfield. That's the next big RPG that I want to play. So I'm probably going to be flicking between that and Cyberpunk. But yeah, I do prefer though the smaller games, as in the PlayStation games. I know not PlayStation Podcast, but I mean them more of a story narrative driven game that you can do in like 8, 10, 12 hours and then move on to the next thing. I'm not for trophies or achievements. I just like the stories in games. That's what I play single player games for. That's where I'm mainly at is single player games. It's only when I'm on with you guys that I really jump into something that's multiplayer. But
so you like new experiences, but did you buy The Last of Us remake on PlayStation 5? I'm just asking.
No, I have not. It's actually gone on sale. It went on sale yesterday in the UK. It's dropped down from $69.99 to
just making sure.
$52.99. But I haven't bought it yet. I'm probably going to wait a while yet before I pick that up because obviously there's other stuff I want to get through that I haven't played yet. Maybe further down the line, if there's like nothing to play, then I'll pick up the remake just to see what's actually different, how it plays, and with the adaptive triggers and what have you. But no, I'm more for looking for newer experiences. But I am looking forward to Disney Speedstorm going free to play in September because I've never played a racing game. So that will be my first ever racing game that I would have ever played in my entire gaming life.
And what a sad state of affairs that'll be because I have played that game and it's okay at best.
Well, I've got now to compare it to.
You'll probably think it's the bee's knees. You'll probably think it's the best thing ever, and then you'll play another racing game, and you'll be like, "Jesus, I don't have to pay 20 quid every 5 minutes," and you'll think you'll realize how bad it is. So, let's get into some nitty gritty stuff because I realize time is getting on. In the UK, for anyone who's not from the UK, we have a supermarket called Tesco. And it's announced that it's now stocking physical games going forward. It's literally yeeting them out the window into a trash can. Once it's got rid of all its existing stock, that's it. So I've seen people getting upset about this, but that's the way it's going, guys. No one buys physical games. No one wants physical games. They're dead. So I feel like this is the start of the end. I think when like the supermarkets drop them, because if Tesco does, all your bigger brands, your Asda's, your Morrisons, will do it. And then where else are you going to get them from? Because there's not that many like physical game stores anymore. Like
you got to buy them online.
Breed.
You got to buy them online now. Amazon and places like that.
I just don't think there's a big market. I mean, it's dying out nowadays. I mean, like I buy literally 99% of my gaming is digital. I only buy physical secondhand if I see a game that's like out of print or it's like so super cheap I have to grab it.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely crazy. Is that true? Muppet?
Yeah. Well, it's like a lot of these places that traditionally sold video games, like if it's a supermarket that sells video games, obviously that's not their main focus. But like for some of these places, like GameStop in the US, they're going to have to figure out how to transition to selling accessories and like gaming t-shirts and stuff like that instead of games. And you can say, well, you can get like a digital code or whatever from GameStop, but who's going to want to drive to a GameStop just to pick up a digital code when you can turn on your Xbox and buy it right from your system? That's not going to make any sense. So some of these businesses that are depending on actual game sales and that's their primary focus, they're going to have to figure out how to transition. Otherwise, they're going to disappear within like the next 5 or 10 years.
Do you know what I can't wait for, though? The death of people using UK physical game sales like it controls the worldwide gaming marketplace.
Yeah,
It's going to be great. Kill it off. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. It boils my piss when I see people using it on Twitter as some sort of fanboy argument. Well, look at this. Fucking God of War sold this much on this console, and then Xbox's first-party games didn't sell very well. Yeah, because Xbox is mainly digital in the UK.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. I mean, what's it like over where you guys are, Vinny and Rand? Is it like, are you guys more digital? I'm sure you're more digital, Rand.
I mean, I'm all digital. I haven't bought a physical game since Titanfall 1 in 2014. Physical's dead. Everybody move on. It's over.
right.
Digital's better.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I haven't bought a physical game since Final Fantasy 15. So,
And you
I just
realised
find
your
that-
mistake, and you were like, I'm never buying a physical again.
no, I love Final Fantasy 15. I don't want to be a hoarder and have like a wall of video games,
Yeah.
Oh, I've been trimming mine. Like the only thing I've got physical now is a handful of Xbox One games that I keep picking up the digital versions when I see them, and my 360 games I've been slowly but surely selling off the physical ones of the ones I own digitally. But other than that, apart from my Evercade cartridges, I don't collect physical because I just haven't got the space. I've got kids. It's just stupid. It just ends up everywhere. And what's the point? I've got to dust them. I don't want to dust stuff. It's bad enough having to dust my console every other week. Like who? When you see all these like YouTubers and content creators and influencers where they've got walls and walls of games and tat and figures. How the hell do they do anything in life? How do they clean them all the time? Or is it just like just thick with dust? You just can't see it on the lens or something like that. I just.
It's actually just a background on, they have green screen and they just, put it up behind them. They really don't have any of those games anymore. They sold them all off years ago. That's the secret. There you go.
The only physical game I have, I got it from Frame a Game. From you've probably seen him on Twitter. Does all you can have any game or Pokemon card or whatever. Put in a frame, background, puts the disc, the box in. It's Superman Returns for the Xbox 360. That's framed.
Wow.
Is the only game that I have physical. Everything is digital. It's just the way. What's the point now? I'd rather if I see something that I want or someone mentions a game, talks a game up, and I've got to buy it, I can go on my phone, click a couple of buttons, and it pay for it, sends to my console. It's downloaded. I don't have to go to say a midnight launch for a game. go to the store, buy a game. While the greasy kid behind the counter is handing me it.
Right.
Probably
I remember going to the Halo 3 launch at midnight because I had like a LAN center then, like a gaming center. So we went and bought loads of copies and people paid to come and play it all night. But my God, now you'd buy it, you'd go back, and then you still have to wait 6 hours for it to patch and install anyway. Yeah. It's like, what's the point in having a disc?
That's when I stopped doing physical.
And most of the game isn't even on the disc anyway. But it's like kind of that argument that people say, no, I want to own a game. I want to pay, $70 for a game. I want that physical game. And it's like, no, you don't own the game. You may own a disc with a picture on it, but you lease a license. You never own a game anymore. You don't own games. You just lease a license to use it until the developer, publisher decides no, it's no longer available. Even if you have a physical disc, you know, updates and codes can be sent to stop you from playing it. You know, it's just the way it is. Digital is the future. You know, we don't complain about Netflix. Well, we complain about Netflix prices, as we've seen on Twitter and stuff like that. But you know, it's a way we take in media now. COVID, awful time for the entire planet. A lot of people died. You know, it was it's a bad time in human history. But I liked where I didn't have to go to the cinema to sit in a big place full of people where all you could hear him is eating food, talking, playing on the phones.
Whoa, don't. I got attacked by what's his face, Sensei, on Twitter, because I said I hate it when people in the cinema are whooping and like cheering and shit. But I don't give a shit. Cheer in your own time. Shut the fuck up. I'm watching a film. I don't kind of laugh at a funny bit. But when they're like getting up and they're like clapping their hands and stuff at like a battle in a film, sit the fuck down.
Yeah,
no,
but I like, exactly. But I liked it where I could pay. I know it was a premium price. Like take Black Widow for example, came to Disney Plus because it wasn't coming to the cinema because cinemas were closed. You paid $20, £20. You got the film. I could pause it for as much as I want, go and do whatever I need to want. I had 24 hours to watch the film because my problem is going to the cinema. You know, I finished my drink and popcorn before the film started because you have about 20, 30 ads before you get to the film. And, you know, I keep going out, coming back, missing stuff. So I liked being able to just watch it at home, pay a premium price, watch it from the comfort of your own home instead of having to go to the cinema, sit with a bunch of people that you probably don't want to sit with. I prefer it that way. I know it's gone back cinema-wise now, but eventually that's going to be your option. Go to the cinema or stay at home and watch it. And I would sooner choose to sit at home and watch it and go there. Digital is the future. Physical is going. In the UK, I think in America, GameStop's the main physical store in America, is it? GameStop?
Yeah. GameStop's dying though. Like they're closing stores nationwide now.
Well, ours, we've got Game, and they've shutting the shops down and moving them into sports shops. So you'll go into like a sporting goods shop. You're like, oh, there's my tennis racket, my football boots and everything. And then right in the back corner, so you've got to do the walk of shame because you're a fat gaming bastard. To the back of the shop, past all of these like fit people with the the workout gears on and stuff to look for your games, and then walk back out past them all. Yeah. So they shame you, and it's silly now. It's absolutely silly. But, oh man, it's crazy, and I agree. Though cinema is, although I went and saw that Elemental with the kids the other day. I quite enjoyed that, and it had like a short at the beginning, and it reminded me of the days when you used to get the Warner Brothers cartoons before the films. But that's showing my age there because it's been a long time since they did that. Oh, what's Sentinel said back? Oh, we've got a question here in the chat before I lose it.
Tim Tams, Umbra.
Infinite Umbra. What's better, penguins or Tim Tams?
Tim Tams.
I don't even know what Tim Tams is. It's got to be a penguin, hasn't it? Penguin. Isn't it the same thing?
It's a penguin.
It's a penguin. It's got a joke on the back. I mean, you get a chocolate bar with mint and a joke. Penguin
it's like
bar.
a Laffy Taffy.
Penguin biscuit.
Yeah, Tim Tams are like chocolate bars.
So the Tim Tam was based on a penguin. So the Tim Tam is a cheap knockoff of a penguin bar. The penguin came first in 1932, and the Tim Tam came out in 64. But they're basically the same thing.
Won't you say it's the Penguins 2.0?
Yeah. Nah. The penguin's got the catchy pick up a penguin, and it's got jokes. I mean, what more?
Right.
Do you want? I mean, like you're getting your entertainment and your chocolate.
Maybe you prefer your cookie to be
straight
to the point.
Podcast talking about penguins.
Penguins and Tim Tams. Never had one, so I don't know which one's better.
Right.
Should we go back on gaming quickly? Right, we'll talk about the big
Yes.
topic. We'll round it up with obviously the whole sort of ABK thing from the last sort of week, and then we'll jump into 20 questions. So, let me get it up. So apparently the FTC is looking at now pausing its Microsoft Activision opposition in favor of settlement talks. So this is brand new today, coming out of Bloomberg. So Bloomberg citing that people within the case that are familiar with it are saying this, and it could be open to the possibility of a potential settlement between the groups, probably similar to the CMA. They've probably seen the CMA back down and sort of like go, let's make a deal. And now the FTC are probably like, well, we're going to lose this court case. Let's make a deal. So it says should the FTC withdraw its case, it would allow the parties to discuss a settlement. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think the FTC are going to back down and drop their...
Yeah, they're a bunch of losers. Of course they're going to back down. They lost. This is over. The deal's going to close probably sometime in August.
Nice.
The FTC is licking their wounds. So they're going to try to save some face by getting some sort of, I don't know, concession from them, even though Microsoft doesn't need to offer anything because they beat them. You know,
Yeah.
so move on. They lost.
Do you think it'll just be whatever the concession is with the CMA as such? Do you think they'll maybe just sort of ask for something?
I don't know, because they weren't arguing cloud gaming during the thing. It was all just PlayStation,
Sony.
PlayStation.
Cool, Jim.
And
Gotta-
FTC
gotta
isn't as
protect
important as the CMA either, so I don't understand. The CMA can actually block the deal. The FTC don't really have any power.
I don't think the CMA can technically fully block it. They can like find them to the high heavens, like out their arse. But I don't think they could technically stop it as such. I'm not a lawyer as such. I don't care.
It's future acquisitions, though. That's the thing. They don't.
Yeah.
They could technically close now. They could close the deal now, since with the case with the FTC that they won, and to stop the injunction. They could close now and be done with it. But the problem is that would restrict content from the UK at the moment because the government could stop content coming, but also future acquisitions as well. It's going to make it harder to try and get things through. If they work with the CMA to come to a resolution that works, and I think so far it's looking at UK's not selling off, but pretty much getting the phone company EE, which is like T-Mobile and Orange combined into one now, I think, having them take over cloud gaming in the UK, which would sort of appease the CMA to an extent. I can't see them doing that in America because obviously internet's a lot better there, and I think cloud gaming's a lot bigger in America than it is here, because I think here it's about as high as 5,000 people at most. And the UK has quite a huge population, so it's literally a drop in a pond here. Whereas like places in America and other places in the world, it's a lot higher. So they could close now; they could be done with it, but they want to work with the CMA because they've already said they're not done. Deal go through or not, there is still other things they're pursuing. Even Yves Guillemot's come out from Ubisoft and said that it's actually a good thing, this deal, because it makes what they're doing more valuable, which is strange. I don't
It
know
lifts
exactly
everyone
what
up, isn't it? It lifts everyone up. There's a term for it, but I can't remember what it is.
A high tide lifts all boats.
That's the one.
Yeah,
There you go.
There you
and
go.
it is a good deal, I know, because it's most people know that half the stuff I come out with, what I say is just like taking the mick out of stuff that I've seen on Twitter and things like that. But it is a good deal, Apart from myself, everyone else in my household have all Xbox. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 Xbox consoles in my house, and 4 of them being Series X's. And so, all mine are all for Xbox anyway. And it's better for them because it it's saving money, like birthdays, Christmases, just get them Game Pass, as well as like nieces and nephews that all play Xbox as well, getting them get a Game Pass subscription so they get access to all the games. And the more games that are on there, from a variety of, acquisitions they made, the better, because it means I don't have to buy them individual games. I can just, here's a subscription. You've got access to the Bethesda library, Activision, Blizzard library. I can even call my wife a gamer now, saying she's playing a Microsoft game because she's hooked on Candy Crush, plays it constantly.
Hey, you want to get her on that soon when there's achievements added, because I'll be getting my wife on it. I'll be like, remember you used to play Candy Crush? Get it downloaded. I tell you what, I bought my kids this Switch version of Minecraft the other day because they've been playing it on my Xbox, but it really annoys me when they're always on the Xbox and I want to play on it. So I bought it on the Switch. I put a second telly in for them and everything. And they were playing, and then it's popping achievements. I'm like, "Way, winner!"
That's it. But we do benefit.
I'm being rewarded for being a good parent there.
Yeah. But it benefits consumers, and I like the rewards points that you get. I bought last month. I bought Star Trek Resurgence because I like the look of it. I like that sort of game, the Detroit Become Human, the Quarry, Until Dawn type of game. So my points paid for that, and as well as some other things. So I like what they do and the way they do it. I'm not saying I want them to buy everyone on the planet because it should be ridiculous. Because then that's when you can start dictating the market. Competition's good. PlayStation. I am a PlayStation fan as well, but PlayStation have been on the top for so long that they're literally dictating to, like the FTC and the CMA and stuff like that. It's all about protecting PlayStation's place and what's good for PlayStation and PlayStation consumers, when instead of looking the bigger picture for everyone, you've got, there's a lot of people that don't make a living wage, that are on the poverty line, and there's a lot in the UK at the moment on the poverty line, and you've got to cut back on things like going out, meals and stuff like that. But if you've got an Xbox, whether it be an Xbox One, a Series S, a Series X or PC, having access to literally hundreds and hundreds of games at a low price, because even though I don't agree with the price increase that's gone up, but that's life. Shit happens, things go up, but it's still, even so with the price increase, it's still value for money. What you get in that service, there's just so much there. And then to add Activision, Blizzard, King into that as well, which we know is going to happen. It probably more of the older games. I know there's the whole whatever deals are in place, contracts are in place for newer Call of Duty games, but it's also like the library. Do they reopen the backwards compatibility program? Because we know we're closing at the moment. Could you imagine them opening that? Yeah, giving breathing new life into all their older titles and older games, the FPS boosts and auto HDR boosts and things like that. It's just value, and I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to save me money in the long run for like family and friends, getting them Game Pass instead of buying individual games. But it is good for consumers.
It's the new sweater Christmas present.
Right. There you go. You know what? I kind of feel like it wasn't just the court loss that the FTC suffered, but it was also I guess Congress, hammering Lena Khan and asking her all these questions and bringing a lot of this to light. And it's like her loss against Microsoft wasn't the first one. I guess she's 0-4 right now with this. So it kind of feels like that forced the hand of a lot of what we're seeing, where the FTC is going from a much more aggressive stance to more one of cooperation. And it's great to see that, because it's like the whole narrative that Jim Ryan was saying, how this was bad for competition. Everybody knows that's a bunch of nonsense. But, I feel like that's because, you look at PlayStation last generation with under Sean Layden, and you had all these great games coming out that were first party. And Jim Ryan's not doing that. He's trying to basically make the most amount of money with the least amount of investment. And that's why he's doing all these third-party deals. That's why all of these classic PlayStation IPs are just sitting on a shelf. not being developed because Jim Ryan is basically doing the businessman thing and not the creative gaming CEO type of
But
thing.
it's a business. But it's a business. That is it. They are a business, whether it be Microsoft, Nintendo,
And
PlayStation.
his business mentality just got him kicked in the jimmies.
But he's done. I know he's got a lot of flack. He has got a lot of flack, but you've got to hand it to him. He's literally dragged it out, helped drag it out for this long. Even our government agencies pretty much fight his battle for him in a courtroom. So he's doing his job and done his job.
But the good thing now that he did that is, one, PlayStation lost. I mean, it's they still get Call of Duty, but they lost in front of a lot of people, in front of a global audience. And two, it's going to require them to dig deep and bring back some of those IPs that everybody knows and loves, like Twisted Metal. They're going to have to bring it back because they can't depend anymore on Call of Duty and all this exclusivity and stuff to PlayStation, like the marketing rights and all that. They can't depend on that alone. They have to come out with different stuff.
Yeah,
Or
they're still getting the same core. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is coming. I can't wait for that.
Right.
But they're still getting the same core. It's still they're getting their 30% because I can't remember, it was in one of the court documents. The money they make from Call of Duty pays pretty much a lot towards their development of their first party games. They're still going to get the 30% cut from selling the games on PlayStation, and they're still going to get a cut from all the micro transactions from Warzone, Call of Duty games, past, present.
Right.
So they're still going to make the money off it. But I also agree that it should hopefully maybe inspire them to actually, compete, bring something out new, do something different. I know they're trying stuff with live service. And whether it works or not, that remains to be seen until we actually have the games. But hopefully it'll push more for competition where they actually, they've got all this IP. What have we got? What can we do? What can we do new? What can we bring back that we haven't for a while? And compete on that level.
I want to ask our two guests, Rand and Uso, a question. With this ABK acquisition, what are you looking forward to more? Them putting all the Activision Blizzard games currently made on Game Pass, or the prospect that they're going to bring back some of these IPs that we haven't seen in a while?
For me, it's the prospect of bringing back stuff. You know, I was kind of looking at like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if they brought back, Prototype, right? Or just let some of these other studios make something else other than Call of Duty. Like, that's kind of what I hope. I mean, for me, like, I've probably played all the games that they're going to put in the Game Pass. So for me, I wouldn't really get any value out of it because I played them all. So for me, it's more about like future stuff.
I would say for me, I like the potential that, Xbox has a ton of studios and now they have a ton of IPs to work with. And so we could have something like the Coalition make a StarCraft third-person shooter or something to that effect where, where usually studios would have to like make a new IP and like start from the ground up with storytelling, what type of gameplay it's going to have. Well, now they have a lot of freedom of choice to make what they want, how they want it. And, we can really see just like, it's like the wildest dreams of any gamer. Like, oh, what if this studio made this game, come true.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have a lot of IPs that they can make now that, of course, Activision Blizzard's leadership up to this point wasn't really concerned with. And I completely get where you're coming from, Rand, about these older titles. They're not really as much of a concern for you because I pretty much own every Call of Duty game, and a lot of the Activision Blizzard games I already own. But it is the prospect of seeing Prototype and True Crime and Guitar Hero and all these great Activision games come back. That's exciting for me as well.
I'd like to see, though, one thing I'm looking forward to, which I don't know would ever happen, like some of the more older Activision games be re-released onto Xbox consoles that have, or may have never been on Xbox before, or for a long time, just even if it's just through backwards compatibility or something, or a remaster or something. I'm not saying they're going to do that at all, because obviously things like that happen, but there's a huge wealth of Activision IP that we haven't seen in a while. The Transformers trilogy was fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of their older Spider-Man games were fantastic. Just not Marvel vs. Capcom. What is it called now? Is it Marvel Ultimate Alliance? That was it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I'd love to see come back. Whether they will, they probably won't, knowing our luck, but that's something I'm looking forward to. And like I said, I'd love to see like new games in franchises that we haven't seen. Tony Hawk's has been a long time since we've had a decent Tony Hawk's, like a proper sequel. Maybe Guitar Hero comes back, but not on as like a yearly basis where they're grinding them out all the time. I'd love to see a Skylanders game come back, but not using the figures, like using the world and the characters and making it a game for kids where they don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on the little plastic figures as well. Because the IP was decent enough, and like the car racing one was quite fun, but having to buy all the bits of tat is always an issue for me. So I'd love to see them maybe do something like that, and like bring Guitar Hero back where I don't need to have the plastic guitar as well. Guitar Hero 3 where you could use the controller was amazing. I mean, I like the guitar, but I also like to not have to buy it, basically.
Right.
But yeah, I'm getting sick of talking about the ABK deal on here. We talk about it literally every week. Chat get grumpy when we talk about it. It's great that it's going through. We've celebrated that massive high that it looks like it's going to pay off. Activision and Microsoft have agreed to extend the merger agreement now until October 18th. So basically, this is just to give them enough time to get the deal done, to deal with the CMA, everything like that, work through those final regulatory issues. Obviously, because the deal was supposed to end on the 17th, I believe, and this obviously stops them having to pay that $3.5 billion to Activision. Now, obviously, if the deal doesn't close by August 29th, it jumps up to 3.5 billion and then up to 4.5 billion by September the 15th. So it's up in the stakes a bit, given the obviously the investors a bit more for their buck. I believe Activision's also paying out an extra like 99 cents to each of the shares as well, if I remember reading that correctly. But it definitely feels like we're on the final straight now. It's all going to be going through one way or another. But it doesn't look like we're going to be it doesn't look like it's closing on. I thought it might have closed Monday and they'd have told the CMA to shove it. But it looks like it's going to be rolling on down that track for maybe a couple more months, unfortunately. So, oh my God. Is anyone else just like fatigued by it all and just wants it to end? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean,
I love it. Hearing all the stuff that's coming out, seeing all the behind the scenes stuff and the deal stuff and all the shady stuff and the emails back and forth. That's fun. It's boring now that it's just not done and dusted, but it is also kind of cool to see sort of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes.
It's like the Real Housewives of gaming.
Right, so we'll round that up then off the topics, and we'll quickly get into 20 questions.
20 question. There you go.
And he's gone again.
Just blasted into oblivion.
Have to wait. Give him like 10 seconds. He'll be back.
That's it. I've got to let the potato like build back up again.
There you go.
Yeah. So at the end of each episode, we do a game of 20 questions. It's as simple as what it says. You've got 20 questions to guess a video game based on asking yes or no questions. You four, BMG, Sentinel, Usovini, and Rand will be working together to guess a game that I have chosen. You can also use chat for help. You can't use the internet. It's all in your gaming knowledge. Now, chat aren't normally very good at this game. I like, honestly.
Please don't let it be another Final Fantasy game, please.
the chat usually just shout random things out. You'll be like, "Is it a first-person shooter?" You'll say no, and then they'll be like, "Call of Duty." Like they don't listen. It's fine. It's fine. They've got brain rot or something, but we love them anyway. You've got by the 20th question, you've got to guess the name of the game. If you guess the game beforehand and you're wrong, you lose. And so far, out of all the shows we've done, we've only not guessed the game once, and that was when Fabio was on. So we should be good. Fabio is not here, so I've got the game. And we're going to throw it to you guys. Any questions from the panel before we get started?
No.
Good. Right. Ask away. And also, we've got a private chat on StreamYard. Put your questions in. Like, if you want to keep track of the answers, put them in that chat.
Okay. All right. First question: Is it an exclusive title?
Is it now an exclusive title, or was it an exclusive title?
Oh.
I don't want to be a dick to you and screw you up straight away.
Okay. Was it at any point an exclusive title?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it an exclusive title right now?
No.
So was exclusive, but is no longer.
Yes. I think BMG's wandered off, so
Yeah. Go ahead, Uso. You're up, buddy.
Was it exclusive to Xbox?
yes.
Oh, I know what it is.
Already? You
Wow,
already know what it is?
Well, don't guess the name just yet, because if you get it wrong.
Right.
That's a good guess, but
Did it come out during the Xbox Series X and S generation? Did it launch?
No.
So it came out beforehand. Okay.
Before that, yeah.
is it part of the Tomb Raider franchise?
No.
Okay.
So far you've got. So I'll quickly recap because you're down to 5-5. It's not part of the Tomb Raider franchise. It came out before the current Xbox generation. It was an exclusive to Xbox at launch, but it is no longer an exclusive to Xbox.
All right. Did it release during the Xbox 360 generation?
No.
Okay.
That narrows it down quite a lot.
Is it a sequel?
Yes. I like how BMG's run away when it's time for this.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. We can do it without him.
So it's either an OG Xbox game or an Xbox One game, huh?
Yeah.
Essentially.
I mean, we could narrow it down. Pick. One or the other.
Did it release during the Xbox One generation?
No.
Oh.
So it's OG Xbox. Okay.
So it's an OG Xbox game. Now we're going all the way back.
A sequel. Huh?
And it's a sequel. Is it Star Wars related?
Yes.
Oh, so KOTOR 2.
That was my first thought. Was it made by Obsidian?
Yes.
Wow.
I wonder what it could be. Does it have the word knight spelled KNIGHTS
I'll allow it
in the
for
title?
Yes, but I got told off for this the other week. But yes, it does.
I mean, are we going to go through the rest of the questions, or are we,
No, you don't have to. You don't have to go to 20. You can get when you think you're 100% sure. By all means, ask.
Yeah.
So I guess
Go ahead.
is it Knights of the Over? Wait, Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, KOTOR. Is it KOTOR 2? Knights of the Old Republic 2?
Yes. Well
Nice.
done.
Outstanding.
Dun, dun, dun,
That was
dun.
good. 12. Good. Well done.
That was the best ever, right? 12 guesses. We probably could have just guessed after we've
You probably could have guessed
said it was
it.
made by Obsidian and just guessed there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Martin says, "Does he win?" I don't know if he did. They were already guessing it in the private chat beforehand, Martin. But I'm glad you got it. Sentinel always moans I pick a bit too obscure games for this, so I tried to go some of that.
Yeah.
A bit more,
No, you know what though? I would have been in trouble because I wasn't an Xbox gamer until the Xbox One generation. Back then, I had a PlayStation 2, so I never played Knights of the Old Republic. So I would have been in trouble. Yeah.
They tried to tell me that Star Wars fighting game was.
Oh.
No, that was really obscure.
That's not obscure.
I feel like we only knew that because it was just infamous for being bad.
I didn't say it had to be good. When we started this, Sentinel picked blooming Donkey Kong on arcade, which threw us for a loop for one because it was arcade, and we're like, what? But we got it. So yeah,
That was not me that picked that. That was BMG that picked that.
He said it was you the other day.
No, that was him. That was not me.
Excuses. I can't remember what the fastest was, unfortunately, Stubbs. BMG is the keeper of records, and he's ducked out for a crafty tug, I think, or a shit.
Right, yep.
He's just literally I'm like, we're starting 20 questions. He's like, see yous, guys. I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, that was pretty fast, though. That was.
And also, we did a poll in the chat. Are you digital or physical? 93% said digital. Only 7% said physical. So digital's the future, my guys. That's the way it is. So
yeah.
Sorry, I'm back. Did I miss? Did you get it? Did you get the game?
Oh yeah, they smashed it in 12.
Yeah, we got it in the first question.
Was it Knights of the Old Republic 2? Oh, I had a better game than that.
Right, a better game than that. Do it yourself. Do it on your Tuesday show. Stop moaning. And quickly before we leave, I just want to update everyone. Next week is our last week before we go on our summer break, where we have a month off through August. So there'll be the PSN Party Podcast and the XBL Party Podcast next week, Tuesday and Thursday. After that, we'll still be here on Tuesdays and Thursdays with a host of different live content. We're looking at doing some live RPG sessions, some live gaming streams and stuff like that. But we'll not be doing a podcast as such unless something absolutely batshit crazy, like balls to the wall, gets announced or happens, and we have to rush out a sort of big sort of special. But after that, we'll be back in August. We're going to be launching a brand new show in August. The XPN podcast. It's going to be basically replacing the existing podcasts where we're talking about everything. So we won't be doing the PSN Party Podcast and stuff. It'll be the XPN Network podcast. It'll be on a brand new day and a brand new time, going back to the old school sort of time and date we used to use, because we miss having some of the old OG XBL Party Podcast members on who can't join us during the week because obviously they're in America, we're in the UK. Some of them work through the day and it's not ideal. So we're going to be changing things up. It'll still be the same. Me, BMG and Sentinel will still be here doing it, but you're going to see a bit more of Fabio, a bit more of Slayer, and we're still going to have all these great guests on as well. So we'll talk about that more on the channel and on the socials and that close to the time when we've sort of nailed everything down. But yeah, it's going to be good. We're putting a lot of time and effort into it. Expect we're sparing no expense. I've got brand new intros. It's all going to be great. I'm just got to work out how to get BMG's head to bounce on the screen like the Windows XP sort of screensaver. As soon as I figure that out, at the moment I've got it pulsing and spinning round, but I need a little one to bounce around while we're doing the 1 minute countdown to the show basically. And a big thank you to Safo for the super chat. I am subbing. I've already pre-ordered it. I'm getting the Antstream Arcade lifetime because I'm going to play it all the time. But Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, BMG and Sentinel, as always, for being here, talking all things Xbox, boring us all with ABK stuff, listening to your cries because of your uncle beating you about PlayStation, BMG. Uso, Vinny, thank you for coming. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Hawaiian Guy 808 or Uso Vinny. Soon gonna be starting a YouTube channel for content creating pretty soon, so look out for that on Twitter. And thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming. And Rand, do you want to tell the few people that probably don't know where to find you and who you are, and where to find you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm the man with the million, Randall Thor 19. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/Randall Thor 19. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. We've wanted you on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a bit weird and wonderful.
Right. Yep.
Oh, but yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you to chat. Chat has been on fire tonight. Sappho, Thimber, we've got Muppet, we had Stubbs, Daz, Martin, there was Paul. Oh my god, I'm running out of I'm having to scroll. There's been that many comments. Oh, I don't want to miss anyone. Infinite Umbra was here. We had It's Timmy. We had loads of people. So, yeah, big thank you to all you guys who tune in each week, especially to all you guys that are showing up green on my screen that are members of the channel. Means the world to us, helps us grow, and there'll be a brand new members video up very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Back from the dead, you were here. Thank you, everyone.
Stubbs was
Yeah,
there.
Stubbs. I've missed you. We had Mac Bound, loads of people, loads of new faces as well. You can find us here every Thursday, or well, next Thursday at least, 8 p.m. BST. We do our Xbox Focus podcast, and then Tuesday at 8:30 BST, we do have a PlayStation Focus podcast as well. And we do review videos, we do live streams, we do a bit of everything. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Hit that sub if you haven't already, and hopefully you like our other content. But other than that, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Hail Satan.